Do you like my YouTube videos? If you do, please leave a comment and actually click on the like button. And if you want, you can hit subscribe. That way you can stay up to date with all my YouTube videos. Hey, and go ahead and click that bell icon to be notified. Thanks. Take care, guys. Oh, geez, here we are again. It's time for me to do my bearded dragon's nails on video again. Here's Clementine. Why on video again? I get asked all the time, even though I have some really good detailed trimmers with diagrams and talking about why you should not be using cat nail clippers or toenail nail clippers for routine maintenance on most of your reptiles' nails, but especially bearded dragons, because they're the #1 pet, so I get asked about them a lot. Sometimes when you first, especially if you're rescuing an animal, their nails might be in bad shape and you may need to just do some hacking to get them closer to where they need to be. But no, you should be using a Dremel. A pet Dremel is safer, but you could use a variable speed Dremel. But because they move so fast, you could take off way more nail than you need to if you're not careful. Pet Dremel, they don't move anywhere near as fast, and it's really good. I like one that will have a variable speed motor. That way, if there's something where I need to do it slower, I don't just have on and off or, 1 and 2. I have the digital motor that I can set the speed to. And if it has a light, this one has 2, even better, because if they have darker nails, you can help see the nail bed, the vein, the blood supply, whatever you want to call it, the quick, whatever. You can just help to see where you want to bring that nail to. Hi, Clementine. So let's talk just a little bit. We don't want to do any harm here, but we have to talk about that nail geometry. And this is the most important thing, and I think this is why people get this wrong when they use the nail clippers, and I've said this in depth before. Clementine, get your head out of here. But you want a bearded dragon to be able to walk on the back of its foot without its fingers being curved or elevated up as best as possible. There's a lot of things that can happen here. Nails can grow abnormal, a broken bone when it's a baby, things like that. So you can actually alleviate a lot of walking pain and make it better for them to climb and walk. Well, what do they do in the wild? People are going to say they suffer, right? Okay? If I'm on a desert island, I snap my leg. I'm a human. I'm a snapped leg on a deserted island. And do I have a wheelchair? Do I have crutches? Do I have, one of those little scooter things that I can put my leg on? Do I have a Segway? No, I suffer. That's what they do. They suffer, they adapt, they don't work as good. But as a pet, we can take care of them and we can make them work better. So everyone, gets scared. They don't know how much to cut. So the biggest thing that happens is you cut it too short and it bleeds. Everyone's scared about doing that. So they keep them long, and then they're too long. Because you're not seeing blood, you assume everything's fine, but it could be causing your bearded dragon pain or struggling to walk or not climbing or laziness. So when we look at the foot, right, this is the bottom of the foot here, the toes, and then the nails curve down. That's normal. So that way they can hook into things when the bearded dragon needs either traction or needs to climb, dig, etc. Yes, they do dig. But what we don't want to see is when you have a flat foot, we don't want to see all these toes start to elevate up because the nail is growing down and they're starting to elevate up. So you trim the nail. You don't just trim the nail when it becomes sharp and gets a hypodermic tip. That's not doing good. Now, bearded dragons should not have a sharp tips as pets of their nails. They're not scraping into anything. We don't need that. You don't want them to scratch us, scratch themselves, scratch other pets, etc. Okay, so sometimes people will trim just to the beginning of the white. So you can see Clementine's nails here. Let's see if I shut the focus on her foot. The nail is starting to grow a tip. But you can clearly see, let me get some tweezers. You can clearly see in her nail, because they're clear, this where the nail bed stops. So if we look here, See this darker color in here? That's the nail bed. The nail bed stops right about there. We really want to take these back to just before the nail bed. Not on the nail bed because you could get too close, but also they could scrape and wear them down themselves. But I gotta tell you, even if you put a rock, sandpaper, you do whatever the people say, your lizard's not sitting there just digging and digging and digging and grinding those nails like you would on a nail file. It just doesn't happen. Their nails are going to grow. They're always going to be growing, okay? So, we come in with the Dremel. We turn it up. Now, like I said, this one has LED lights at the top and bottom. And they come with a guard if you're not experienced. But the biggest thing is, if you have it wheeling away from their nail, it'll almost like pull their foot away, so you don't have to worry about it going sideways. And we're going to go ahead and Dremel the one nail. Now, the other thing that happens is, and it doesn't hurt them, it does vibrate a little bit, so they may not like that, but honestly, they get used to it. If you have someone helping you, they can hold the dragon. It's much easier. The other thing is, when people cut nails, a lot of the times, maybe they will cut it at a bad angle. If we take this nail, watch the tweezers here, and we cut it at an angle like this, the bearded dragon or any lizard is now going to be putting the weight just on the back tip of the nail rather than on the full flush part of the nail. So we want to bring it back to here, but rather than having it be on the angle, because that's where the nail bed is like this, the front will have more dead nail, so we can leave it flat. Very simple. So the dragon can move around. Who knew? Who knew? You want to be careful of other toes. Let me move this camera a little bit. And because you don't want to nip the side of another toe, things like that. She's going to move all around now, because now it's actually time to start doing this. And she's like, I've sat here patiently for too long. Normally you can fix that. Just elevate the dragon a little bit and grab the toe. Come in with the Dremel. Very nice. Very nice. All right, I'm going to do a couple, and then I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. All right, so we have done 1 foot. It's much easier when you're not reaching around a camera. It's so easy, but if you look now, these nails are much shorter. There's much less dead space, and when they sit, how the finger will sit, she's like raising everything up because she's mad now. You can see they're going to sit, this is a little bit hard too on a towel, they're going to sit much better. Put this finger down, pretend like you're walking flat and you're not mad at me. They're going to sit much more flush to what they're walking on. See how those are especially the back ones, compared to these super long ones with all that dead in there that keeps these some toes elevated more than the other. Just not comfortable. So you can use the Dremel, and when they get more used to the Dremel, Clementine is still not super used to it, guys. As you know, she's much younger than the rest. But when they get used to a Dremel and things like that, it just is done so easy for them. Okay, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video and you've learned about nails again, and you will, start using the Dremel because it's really good for their nails. Take care, everybody.
Thank you guys for supporting my reptile rescue family.